Hey, Brock, it's so good to be on with you. Well, first of all, Brock, Brad just texted me that you're muted. Can you hear me? So,
I did it again. Oh, crud. I screwed up again. I did it again. I am so sorry, everyone. You missed my entire intro. I've been talking for like 2 minutes and no one has heard me.
I heard you.
This is
I heard
such
you.
a, you heard me. Thank you. Thank you, Justin. Thank you, Justin. This is such an important live stream. And for me to mess that up again tonight, really, really, I feel my face going red right now, and my ears and everything. This is a very special live stream. Quick recap of everything I said that you didn't hear. If you can't read lips, you have no idea what I said. This is huge. Tonight is huge. We're going to talk with Justin. He has read the script to the Shift feature film. I don't know what he thinks. He's going to tell me live. That may be a bad idea. We also have a huge, huge reveal that we're going to be sharing with you tonight. This also might be a really bad idea, but it's very, very exciting. I don't know of any filmmaker who's ever done anything like this before. I promise you, it is almost, well, this is probably the wrong thing to say, but it's almost possible to overhype what we're going to reveal tonight. It is big. And I think that is something you're going to be really, really excited about. If you want to invest in this film, we need you. We've actually more than reached our minimum goal at this point. We are over 250,000, well over $250,000 in investment, which brings us more than halfway to our minimum goal of $500,000 in investment. You can join us right now at angelstudios.com/the shift. If you invest during this live stream, your name's going to pop up. We will shout you out. I would love to do that. Okay, enough of that stuff. Justin, back to you. Um, you um, you are my friend now, but for a long time we were kind of circling each other. Was this part muted? I don't even know. But we met recently on the set of The Chosen. For those that don't know, you don't know have any idea who you are. Give us a quick background on you.
Yeah, I work on the show The Chosen, which is the first ever officially now. Like it becomes officially official on Sunday that we will be the first multi-season show about the life of Christ because season 2 starts on Easter Sunday. And I've been involved with the project pretty much since the beginning, and it's just been amazing, an amazing ride. The people that I've met, including you, Brock, which I would have never met you if I wasn't involved in The Chosen. And so that in and of itself is a blessing to me because I love you. I think you're a great dude, and I'm so just thrilled that we're connected now.
No, the feeling is totally mutual. I knew you mostly by reputation before I visited the Chosen set to work on it for a couple of weeks and kind of shadow Dallas back in October. And that was a really nerve-wracking situation. Anytime you walk into a set, especially a set that's that large with that many people, and you don't know anybody at all, you just hope that somebody will be your friend. And Justin was the guy for me, who was my friend, who sat with me. I'm sure you had plenty of other people to sit with, but every day for lunch, he would sit next to me, and we became good friends. And so I'm really glad to have you here, and I'm really excited to hear your perspective on the script, which almost no one has read, but you read it, and I don't really know what you think. So Justin, you've read the script. I'm 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 flinching. What did you think?
Oh, come on, I wouldn't get on live with you if I hated it, would I?
I would
Um,
hope not.
Just disclaimer though, I don't understand words that are more than 3, maybe 4 syllables long. So there were parts that I didn't understand anyway because I'm just not a very smart person. But no, of course it's fantastic. And here's Brock, here's what I love about it the most. And it, be, just because of the reputation of Christian cinema,
Hmm.
the everything has to be super super wrapped up in a bow. Everybody gets redeemed in the end.
Yes,
The
happy
shift
endings
does
across the board.
right. Spoiler alert. not everything is neat and tidy in the shift. And I love that because while it is science fiction and while the stuff in it, I don't think would generally happen in real life, it is
No.
grounded in the reality of life is messy. And I remember interviewing Liz Tabish, who plays Mary Magdalene for The Chosen, and she had responded to I don't even remember what the question was, but she said to me, life is messy. Life is hard. And that's one of the things she loves about The Chosen and being able to portray Mary Magdalene is that Mary Magdalene is a flawed character. So
Right.
the shift is full of flawed characters. And that's another thing that I just absolutely love in reading scripts or reading. I'm not much of a fiction reader in general.
Interesting.
But when I get to a fictional narrative, whether it's in screenplay form or a novelization or even a short story, if I see flawed characters that are struggling with something, I'm like,
Right.
yes, I can get behind this. And that's first and foremost what gets me really excited about the shift is just the characterizations that you have in there, the way people are flawed, and it's not just he's our hero, so he's got to be great.
Right.
Jeff struggles with things, man, and I love that. I just
Yeah.
absolutely love that.
Well, I think, those are the kind of characters that you want to follow, right? You want to follow people who are experiencing things that are familiar to you. And, newsflash to everybody, none of us are perfect. None of us. Only one was ever perfect. And he's a fascinating, not to say that he isn't a fascinating figure. The Chosen has gotten a lot of mileage out of following him around. But for the story for any other story we're telling about anybody else, there's going to be flaws, and to not present those, I think, is disingenuous and not compelling. Personally, for me, I
Well,
want to
and
see people who were really going through stuff.
right, and it alienates the audience. The audience can't
Absolutely.
relate to flawless people. And Jesus in The Chosen is flawless. He's the perfect human, but he's the only one that ever walked the earth. But too many times we only talk about the deity of Jesus and we don't,
Right.
spend much time in the humanity of him. And so what we're doing with The Chosen is trying to show the humanity of him. So the shift has the humanity of these flawed characters and really it's so easy to connect with them. Some of the quirky things. I won't get into spoilers or details or anything, but there's one character in particular that I really really appreciated. The theater owner. We'll just leave it at that.
Oh, interesting. Oh, yeah, yes, 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 yes. It's okay. We can say it's
Lovable awkwardness to him, and I felt that in him. And you're probably looking at me like I didn't intend that at all, but
no, no. What he wants, all of that is very clear to me. But physically, I think that can be exhibited in a number of different ways. And so I was careful to not nail that down. But I love that the picture was painted in
so well for me, and I love that. And he's not a major to love the secondary and tertiary characters, and I don't want some of these sidekick characters, and you avoid that so wonderfully in the shift. And I don't want to just sound like I'm totally trying to get your head to explode here, but I get really excited, and it starts to me with the characterizations, and you've crafted to play.
Oh, I wonder who you have in mind. Justen, for those of you who don't know, is an actor in his own right, and I would be very lucky to have him when we get to that point.
That sounded like an asterisk. He's an actor in his own right. He thinks of himself as an actor.
That is not how I meant that. That is not fair. So the short film, a lot of people, they watch the short film and they've got, actually, you know what, before I get to that, we've got a question here from Richard. He wants to know if we can do multiple investments. The answer is that yes. If you have already invested in the shift and you'd like to invest again, you are absolutely free to do so. There is a limit based on your income level as to how much you can invest, but that's something that's taken care of on that end. But yes, multiple investments are possible. Thank you for that question, Richard. If you do want to invest tonight, and we would love to see you do that, your name is going to appear on the screen, and we'd love to shout you out. And you can do that at angelstudios.com/the shift. So a lot of people, I mean, pretty much, I'm guessing everybody who's watching this live stream right now has seen the short film. If you haven't, I highly recommend going to watch it. You can find it at the link. The thing that happens a lot when people are done watching the short film is they have a lot of questions. They have a lot of questions about because there's a lot of different ideas that are introduced in the short, and there's all these people that are around Kevin, kind of watching him, and what's their deal, and there are a lot of questions that are introduced and that aren't really answered. You're left to imagine. Um, Now that you've read the full feature script, you know what happens to Kevin after he walks out the door. You know what the confrontations are and the trials are that he goes through after that diner. How did you feel like the questions were handled? The questions that you had in your mind, did you feel like those were basically answered, that you got that satisfaction from the full story?
I think so. I don't know what those questions were specifically for me after
Mm-hmm.
watching the short. And when I got into the feature, and the feature structurally kind of, you have the majority of the short, and then the elaboration comes in the feature.
Mm-hmm.
After those first 25 pages or whatever it
Something
is.
like that, yeah.
And you went in a direction that I wasn't expecting necessarily.
Mm-hmm.
And I I I mean I say I expected to see more of a particular character, but he's kind of non-existent for a good portion.
Yeah, you could say that. You could say that. Sure, let's just put that. You've already said it, so just say who
you
you're
know,
talking about.
yeah, and I expected to be more conflict right there, but the conflict is more man versus man. They talk about
Mm-hmm.
the three forms of conflict: man versus nature, man versus man, and I'm sorry, man versus self. Man versus
Mm-hmm.
self is where a lot of the conflict comes from,
Mm-hmm.
with Kevin's character. And so I appreciated seeing that, and just really you feel for him, because,
Yeah.
and I won't say the because at this point, because I think that gets a little spoilerish, but
Mm-hmm.
I really liked experiencing the struggles that he was going through.
Right.
And as a reader, I'm always trying to think of what I would do in his situation. And there were a
Mm-hmm.
couple of times where I'm like, oh no, do this, and then he does that. But then
Yeah.
the that he does leads to the this, and I'm like, okay, so he just wasn't ready to do the this, and the payoff at
Right.
the end was well worth it.
Right. Wait, I love the tap dancing you're doing. You're making so many efforts to not spoil things, and I so appreciate that.
Well,
Um,
I mean, when Kevin dies, halfway through, it really
right.
did destroy. Oh, was that spoilers?
That was a little spoilerish. I mean, but you didn't mention the ghost of his father and the lightsaber that's handed off to him, which is a little bit of a copyright issue we're going to work out. But I appreciate you not saying anything about that.
Well, and I know you didn't call him Baby Yoda in the script, but there was some definite Grogu
Pretty
vibes in
pretty clear
the
that's what's going
child that
on.
was
Yeah.
walking around. Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely. So there is a thing about this, and you mentioned it already, which is that it does have a sci-fi element to it, which is not something that you see very often in faith-based films. And I honestly can't think of any faith-based films that have been released commercially in a wide way that had the science fiction element to it. I think it's fair to say that within the feature film, we go even deeper into those elements. Um, how did the marriage of the two things, what was of the sci-fi and the faith? I mean, it's in the short film, but it is so much more in the feature film. They intersect in a much bigger way. Um, how did that play for you?
Well, the designation of sci-fi kind of brings up specific connotations for some people. I think they
Hmm.
hear the genre sci-fi, and immediately their mind goes to a Star Wars or a
Right.
Star Trek or space. I mean, mine does anyway. This isn't a space odyssey or anything like that. This is more of an alternate reality,
Hmm.
which falls under the umbrella genre of sci-fi. But
Absolutely.
for me, the honestly, I'm not a big fan of alternate realities that are worse than our own, because there are times when our own feels pretty bleak at
Yeah.
times, and this one definitely paints a picture of a reality that is worse, than any coronavirus or any stock market crash or anything like
Yeah.
that. So there's an element of just a depressive feeling, which in the if the characters weren't so good, Brock, the depressive feeling would have left a bad taste in my mouth, to be
Hmm.
honest. But
No, I
because
appreciate that.
yeah, but because you craft the characters so well, and I have people to root for, I
Hmm.
want them to get through this bleakness. And I mean, there's levity in it. I mean, there are some genuinely funny moments. It's
Yeah.
not a heavy-handed. This is the dystopian future that that's not it at all.
Yeah.
That's not future. I don't. That's the wrong word to use. But um, there, there's not there's not a heavy-handedness to it when there actually could be.
Hmm. Hmm. That's that's good. I think, that's something that Dallas and I have talked a lot about the importance of humor within dramatic stories. That the humor is really, really important when it comes to, making your dramatic moments feel real, because there is humor in real life. We make jokes, we laugh with each other. I have seen movies and read stories where there is not a single joke, that the person who wrote it literally probably does not have a sense of humor. And to be honest, those stories always come across as very unrealistic to me. Uh, and I think the humor deepens your experience with the emotion, because I think if we're honest about it, our emotions are never just one thing. Our emotions can live side by side, with each other. Contradictory emotions. We are capable of experiencing contradictory emotions at the same time. Um, I think about, for example, in my own life, I've had moments of tremendous grief, but within that, I can remember having a laugh, here and there. Sometimes we resort to what's called gallows humor, where we try to make light of a bad situation. And I think that's partly coping mechanism, but partly just because we are capable of holding two different emotions and two different thoughts at the same time. And I think a lot of good characterization and good writing, at least in my own personal way of thinking, comes from being able to exhibit those things, to being able to embody that contradictory nature that we all have within ourselves within a character on a page. If you can do that, I think you've got a strong character. And weak characters are usually characters that contain no contradiction. Um, Sorry, I went really deep there. That's probably not what people are here for. This deep dive into writing and story theory, but it's something I think about a lot.
No, and honestly, I hope that a few people are, because that, if you really want to dissect what makes movies work and what makes movies not work, or even TV shows for that matter. I mean,
Hmm.
kind of a tangent here, but I talk to my wife all the time about our all-time favorite show, Friends, how
Uh-huh.
that show would not get made today because there
No,
isn't this big picked what's the whole log line, high concept. It's not a high concept.
no,
It's
it's a really simple concept.
it's about as low concept as you can get, and
Yeah,
yet it ranks consistently no matter what lists you look at. It is a top 10 show of all time.
yeah,
Today it wouldn't get done, but what made that work is that the characters were different, and you do
yeah.
that in The Shift. I mean, different characters respond differently to situations,
Hmm.
and if you have everybody respond in the same way, you start to see this sameness, and it
Right,
pulls you out of it, because then you start to think, oh, well, now it's a social commentary. I mean, this guy is just
right,
writing something that he wants to get a point across.
right.
Every character is going to react the way that this writer would react. And
Hmm.
you allow your characters to react, I assume, in ways that you probably wouldn't react yourself. And
No, not at
that's
all.
and
Yeah,
that's a tremendous thing too, as a writer, that you have to be willing to do. Be willing to let some of your characters just be butts,
yeah,
honestly.
yeah. Totally. No, I completely agree. I completely agree. And that's just part of the journey of the character. Each character, if they're written well, are taking some type of a journey over the course of a story. It's not their full journey. Their full journey would encompass their life before the story started and after the story ends. But even within that story that we're telling, there has to be a type of journey, and that journey is going to require ups and downs. It's going to require them being a butt. It's going to require them being, not a butt. And hopefully by the end, especially our hero, you want him to not be a butt. Please don't. Let's not make that the quote of this stream. Um, but yeah, hey, real quick, I want to shout out Teresa from New Hampshire who invested $102. Thank you very much, Teresa. We're very, very glad to partner with you. If you would like to partner with us during this live stream, we'd love to shout you out. angelstudios.com/the shift. We are about 25 minutes into this. We have not forgotten. We have a huge announcement coming. I mean, absolutely massive. It's coming up very, very soon. As soon as Justin and I wrap up, and Justin, I hope you'll hang on while we make this announcement because I want you with us. I think it'll be fun to see reactions and to hear what you have to say about it. So the last thing I want to touch on, you mentioned that there's this kind of depressive quality to the story, that it kind of went into this direction that was a little surprising to you. It kind of goes into this dark direction with these characters who are in this place that is darker than the world we currently inhabit. Now, if it were just that, I think I would have done a very poor job. I mean, nobody's gonna, click on the show that's, oh, hey, this is gonna depress me, I'm gonna watch this. Um, that's not a log line. So what I'm hoping is you can pull me out of this and tell me how you felt by the end of it. What was the feeling that you had at the end? And you get to that last page, the depressive feeling. How did that, was it still there?
No, I felt accomplished by the end of the read, not
Mm-hmm.
because of anything that I did, but because I felt like I was living vicariously through our hero, Kevin. And I went through the trials that he was going through, and he had the strength and the audacity, not to say that he didn't, make a few mistakes along the way,
Mm-hmm.
but he fought through it and he didn't give up when he could have given up. And there's this aspirational quality to one of the things in particular that he was doing.
Mm-hmm.
And it relates, like I relate to it on such a personal level because I'm always trying to just plant little seeds in places that I can plant them. And so when
Right.
I learned what Kevin was doing, and you set up the mystery pretty well too, and I won't spoil what it is, but there was a time where you weren't really sure what he was doing, and then you found out what it was,
Mm-hmm.
and you're like, oh, nice job, man. And
Yeah.
I may have even gotten a little emotional towards the end there when I found out what he was doing and the way that he had an impact on people. I mean, man, it's a wonderful life quality to some of this, to be honest with you, because there's parts where you're like, yeah, it's bleak. What do
Yeah.
you have going for you? What do you have to live for? And then by the end, you're like, oh,
Right. Right.
somehow he still found a way to be positive and to be I don't know if beacon is the right word, but just
Uh-huh.
a source of inspiration for the others around him that were experiencing the same bleakness that he was experiencing, if not worse in some
Right.
cases.
Right.
That's
I
so
love.
ambiguous. I know
I
that
know.
it's
I
like
know. It's
it's
so hard. It's so hard to talk about it like this. It's so hard to
well,
do that.
we need to do okay. So let's say 18 months from now, after the movie's made, released, and people
Uh-huh.
have watched it, and you've got your IMDb reviews, then you and I will have this conversation again, and we'll be able to a little
We
more.
can
We'll
be
flesh
more
out.
open.
Yeah,
But you know what? Wouldn't it be awesome though if we didn't have to wait that long?
it would be awesome,
Wouldn't it
honestly.
be awesome if we could have this conversation with people and we can have it openly because they've read the script too?
Yeah, but how can you pull that off?
Well, nobody's ever done that before. I
No,
mean, you don't do that, right? You don't put a script out there for just anybody to read before the movie's made.
I mean
I mean,
maybe
that
if
would
you're
be
foolish.
insane.
I don't know.
Yeah. I
Maybe
mean,
you're
nobody does that. I mean,
either foolish or brave or something in
yeah.
between.
Well, because I mean, anybody could read it, and especially if they've never read a script before, or they're inexperienced, they might read it and they might not totally understand.
No, sure.
But on the other hand, I mean, if it's a good script and if it's something that people are excited about, and you just put it out there, and that would just get them even more excited about what you're doing.
It would.
That would be the other thing that could happen.
We also need to work on our acting because we're terrible.
We're terrible. Well, no, wait a minute. If you're terrible, that's a problem. If I'm terrible, nobody cares. Um, we are doing it right now. if you go to angelstudios.com/The Shift, you can actually read the full script of the Shift feature film. That is happening right now. This has never been done before, to my knowledge. No filmmaker has ever just taken their script and just released it into the wild and let anybody read it. I'm genuinely like nervous. Like I can feel my heart is like beating out of my chest that we're actually doing this. But we are. It is true. And in fact, I will show you right now what it looks like. You can go, nope, that's the wrong thing. That is us again. Hold on a second. I got to click onto the
Don't
right
hit
thing.
the mute button, Brock.
Don't hit, I'm not hitting the mute button. I'm not hitting the mute button. Let's see, where is it? Here we go. If you go to this page right here on our site, you can come down here and you'll see that right here is a tab called script. And when you click on that, you will see a little message from me, a little video of a table read, and then this button right here, read the full script. Boom, and you will have it and you will be able to read it. This is crazy. This is crazy. But as Justen has, Justen has read the script. Dan and Matt, who did the music for The Chosen and are now going to do the music for The Shift, they read the script. I have several partners in Hollywood who have come on who have read the script. And every time somebody has read the script, the same experience has happened. They get really, really excited. They've already seen the short film, but then they just get even more excited because they are reading this story and they know what we're doing. And I think with something like The Shift, which is so different, and even though you can watch the short film, you can get 20 minutes, essentially 20 minutes of the movie you can experience by watching the short film right now. People still come away with questions. They still wonder, well, what are you doing? What is this movie that you're doing? Because it is so different. And I have had people like just plead with me, like, tell me, like, let me read it. Tell me what's going on. I really want to buy into what you're doing, but I just can't wrap my brain around this thing. And so we're removing that. We're removing that whole barrier. And we're saying to you, look, we are confident in what this film is and what it's going to be. And you can go and you can read it and you can find out right now what happens to Kevin after he walks out the door. And we are confident that when you do so, it's only going to make you more excited to see this story told up on the big screen. That's what we're betting on. No filmmaker has ever done anything like this, to my knowledge. And I am very excited. I haven't even been watching the comments right now. I don't know how people are reacting to this news. I don't know if anybody's like, geez, man, that's so long. I don't want to read anything. I want to go watch. Let me see. OMG, I'm so excited. After seeing the short, I needed more. Are you hearing this? Incredible. Wow. Okay, so people are reacting well. That's good. That's great. Justen, have you ever heard of anybody doing anything like this?
Well, I'm trying to go see the comments. I can't figure out how to do that, Brock.
They're on Facebook. They're on the Facebook. I'm sure on YouTube too.
Right now. I don't know, because I want to know who's here. I want to say hello to people. I have a feeling.
We got Suzanne. We got Cassie, Tara, Jane, Sherry, Tim. Tim says Brock has went and shifted. Jane asks, is that the announcement? Yes, Jane, this is the announcement. This is our huge reveal. I'm revealing the whole script to you. I don't think a reveal gets bigger than that.
What I think is really cool about it, and I, again, not to keep going back to The Chosen, but there is something that is going right with the way we're doing The Chosen and doing it outside the Hollywood system. And you mentioned that you've shared it with people in Hollywood, but I don't think people should be alarmed that you're going the Hollywood way and that.
No, not at all.
This is still faith-based content. This still has a redemptive quality to it. This is, similar to The Chosen, we want to bring more Jesus to the world. You don't have a character. Spoiler alert, can I say that Jesus doesn't show up in your...
Jesus, no, that's fine. Jesus does not show up in The Shift.
But by sharing the script, you're doing similarly to what we're doing with The Chosen, is we're giving people kind of the curtain lifting.
Hmm.
and showing the behind the scenes things. Now, we've never shared the scripts before they've been shot, but
Right.
we give so many behind the scenes videos. Dallas does a vlog pretty much every day from set,
Yeah.
and we do live streams regularly. I do my cheesy little behind the scenes videos where I do terrible puns and try to weave in something of value.
People love them.
I love the puns, so I don't care if people like them or not. I'm going to keep doing them. But what you're doing with the shift here, and again, because this is crowdsourced and you're relying on people that believe in you, they need to
Right.
also be able to believe in the story. And what better
Right.
way to get them to believe in the story than to lay it all out there for them?
Right.
So I
Right.
think that, yeah, it's a little crazy, but there is no blueprint to how a movie is supposed to be made. And anybody
No.
that says this is the way it has to be done, run away, because they
Yeah.
don't know. Every movie is different. Every project is different. And this is a brand new project. This is
Hmm.
not like anything else that has ever been done before. The Shift is its own project. And
Right.
for people to really understand and appreciate what it's trying to accomplish, I think sharing the script with them is fantastic. And
Yeah.
I would challenge anybody watching this either live right now or on the replay, go to that link. I mean, it just, and read the script. And Brock, we should probably give a little bit of backstory on how to read a script, shouldn't we? Like,
Yeah. Yeah, because I think a lot of people are going to be probably reading a script for the first time with
it's
this.
not like reading a book.
No, it's not. It's very different from that. And it's
And
not like reading a script for a play even. You know,
right.
it's its own thing. A movie script is its own thing.
And some people might even look at it and think, well, you didn't describe enough. That's the point. You're not
Right.
supposed to be overly descriptive in a screenplay.
Hmm.
You get there faster. It's one of the things I like to say when I'm, whether I'm editing or leaving comments on somebody else's edit or writing my own stuff or reading somebody else's. Get there faster.
Right.
There's a reason you don't see people say hello, nice to meet you in movies, because we
Right.
don't need to see that.
We
We
don't
can
need
just
to. We don't
assume
want
that
to.
they did that 3 minutes earlier.
Yeah. They also don't
So,
say goodbye when they're on the phone. They just hang up.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And that's all because we can fill in those gaps. We don't need to take precious page space or precious celluloid space and show that.
Hmm.
So when they're reading the shift, yeah, they might think, well, I need to know a little bit more about this. No, you don't. Not in the screenplay form. You get
Right.
what you actually need to know, and then use your mind's eye, and you come
Hmm.
up with your own physical description of Ramirez. You know,
Right. Right.
and
Exactly.
and then things like INT period, EXT period. Tell people
Hmm.
what those mean, Brock.
Yeah. So you are going to see some abbreviations and some things that for a script reader makes sense, but might be new to you. So if you see, for example, INT period, that means interior. EXT period means exterior, and you're going to see that at the top of what's of scene headings is what they're called. So that those scene headings tell you where the scene takes place, and then the scene follows below that. So every time you see INT or EXT, you're talking about a new scene, and that just tells you where it's happening. So there are little things like that. I think for the most part, people will probably be okay. But that is one of the things that can trip you up as a newbie because there's really no explanation, and it's never not abbreviated. It's always abbreviated.
Right,
So
and you don't want to be 30 pages in and then be like, what is this every time?
yeah,
Why?
yeah,
Intellectual, existential, I don't know, whatever.
yeah. Something else that you might want to know about if you're reading a script for the first time is that if you ever see dialogue that's side by side with each other, most of the dialogue is going to run just down a column. But sometimes you'll come along and two characters, their dialogue will be side by side. It's called dual dialogue. That means that dialogue is supposed to occur simultaneously. So it's a way to write crosstalk without just saying, hey, it's crosstalk. Big example of that would be during the prayer in the diner. You'll see the prayer and you'll see Satan's ranting, and they're side by side with each other. Which, interestingly enough, when I wrote the short film, was not in the script, but I did put it in the features. In the feature script, I put the prayer.
Huh,
The
very
prayer was something I handed to the actor on a slip of paper, and I said, "Okay, just read this," and nobody knew what he was going to say.
I
So
didn't know
that
that.
was really fun. Yeah, no, it was a really really cool moment. Um, let me let's I want to show you guys a video. So this video is a video that you're going to find on the site. I'm guessing a lot of you are probably already over there right now. But if you're not there yet, Let me show you a video that we put together. This is from a table read that we did back in September for the original crowdfunding campaign. I've taken that table read and I've added some footage at the start and the finish to talk about this releasing of the script. So this is something you'll see on the site, and that you can bring people to so that they can watch it and see what we're up to. Let's see here. Hi, I'm Brock, the writer and director of The Shift. What you're about to watch is an early look from the script of the full feature version of the film. This is a rough table read I organized with some local actors. You may recognize Greg from the short film. None of this is final, but it will give you a taste of what's coming in the completed film. As a filmmaker, I'm hesitant to show you anything that's not finished. But as a partner in the film, I'm excited to give you a peek at what's to come. If you'd like exclusive access to the full script today, you can download it right here on this site. Enjoy. Okay, we are here with Deep Rye and with Greg Tharp, and they are going to be helping us out with our table read tonight. Greg, of course, you recognize as Kevin from the short film, and we're so lucky to have him. He will once again be playing Kevin for us tonight. And we have Deep, who's going to be playing a new character that you have never met before, who is not even hinted at in the short, and that character's name is Gabriel. Welcome, Deep and Greg, to this table read, and thank you for doing this.
Oh,
thank you.
Okay, so just to set up this scene a little bit, what's going to be happening is this is your first peek into what happens to Kevin after he walks out of the diner. You don't know anything that happens beyond that. And so this scene actually does take place quite a bit after that. And there's going to be some things that you don't necessarily understand what they're talking about, but I think you'll get a general idea of just how much Kevin's story syncs up with Job's story in the Bible. You're going to get your first real look into how that works. So here we go. You guys ready to get into it?
yeah.
Do it.
Yeah.
Let's do it. Here we go. Exterior, rough alleyway, evening. Huddled away from the busy street, Kevin chomps down on a small, ugly sandwich. Gabriel looks on with concern. Nearby, a group of boys torment a runty boy behind a dumpster.
Are you holding up?
Fine.
Yeah? You being who you are, what you did, I think you get a little bit more support from, you know who.
Well, I'm eating this delicious, whatever this is.
That's right. Your prayer was answered by the bare minimum sandwich god. My mistake.
Gabriel is joking around, but Kevin is visibly rattled. His friend is getting close to his deepest fear, but Gabriel can get closer.
What do you think you're doing wrong?
Wrong?
Yeah, I mean, if I had taken out the benefactor the way you did.
It wasn't me. It was...
Okay, but that's my point. Now you're left here with the rest of us to, starve and beg for work? If it was me, I'd be worried I'd tick them off somehow.
Kevin, suddenly not hungry anymore, lets the sandwich drop from his mouth. Gabriel takes it and bites into it.
Or, I think maybe he was never there in the first place. Maybe it was a trick.
The boys drag the runty boy out from behind the dumpster and push him around. He cowers in fear. Kevin notices.
You think we should...
Nah, just kids being kids.
Gabriel, you ever read any of the papers that I gave you?
Does a mailman read the mail?
You should check them out sometime. He puts his people to the test.
Okay. I mean, if that's what you think it is.
A new boy shows up to challenge the boys picking on the runty boy. He gets them to back down. Kevin smiles.
God requires patience. He shows up when you least expect it.
Sure. And how much more patience you think you got?
Kevin doesn't answer. Gabriel's got his number. The new boy yells at the runty boy to run away. The runty boy lights out of there.
What do you believe in, Gabriel?
Me? I believe in myself. I believe in what the faction is doing, but I don't believe everything they preach. I Hey!
The new boy picks up a rock and throws it right at the runty boy, hitting him square in the back. The other boys howl. Gabriel runs at the boys, shouting and chasing them off. Kevin darts over to the runty boy and picks him up. His face is full of dirt and tears. He kicks Kevin hard in the shins to get away. Kevin lets him go and doubles over in pain.
Oh, thank you so much.
The hell?
No, I would throw the rock at him.
Hey, listen, forget everything I said. Okay? You do you. I'm just thinking out loud here, right?
Don't worry about it.
All right. Well, I need to deliver these pages. So. You okay?
Yeah. Go.
Gabriel leaves Kevin alone with his thoughts while the rain pours down on him. The facade now gone, his tired, worn face falls into despondence. And scene. That was it. Awesome. Thanks, you guys, so much.
Yeah?
That was fantastic. Thank you for watching. If you want to see even more, for a limited time, we're inviting you to get a look at the full script. This is very unusual. This is nuts. I've never heard of any filmmaker making their script available like this. But I strongly believe that by inviting people like you into our corner, we'll be able to make this film a reality. To request access, just click the link below. And we're back. All right. Well, that is a little taste of the script. It's a very important scene within the script. Have you ever seen that before, Justin? I don't even know if you got to watch what we were just looking at there.
I haven't, but I realize now. I thought that I had shared the wrong video to my wall, but I was seeing it was a clip from the table read, right?
Yeah, it was. Yes,
Okay.
It was a clip from the table read. Yeah.
It's all coming together now.
Hey, we want to shout out to Denise from Texas, who just invested $108. Thank you so much, Denise, for partnering with us. We are going to be wrapping up here in just a few minutes. I know that several of you are also looking forward to the Chosen live stream that's happening tonight in about 14 minutes now. So we're definitely going to end before then. Yeah, you're familiar with the Chosen, I think, Justin. You've heard of it?
Is that tonight?
That's tonight. I think the Chosen is doing a live stream every night. Actually, at least that's what it feels like to me. At least this week they are. If you want to invest, you can do that right now at angelstudios.com/theshift. We hear some people are having some issues with credit card, and we definitely want to help you out with that. If you contact us at support@angelstudios.com, right away we will help you promptly. So you can email us at support@angelstudios.com, and we will get somebody in contact with you, and we will fix this up. This is not a problem. We can help you. I think we don't really have time for questions tonight. If you do have a question, though, if you can get it in on our site real fast, there's a thing down there at the bottom. Justin, any final words? I know there were some other things that we didn't get a chance to talk about tonight. Like I really wanted to get in and talk about the state of Christian media and film, which we did touch on a little bit, but I don't think we have time to go deep on that. Maybe we'll have you back sometime. I feel like there's especially with your experience, with where you are in the industry, and the experience that you've had over the years, I think you would probably have some pretty insightful things to say about that.
Oh, I could get myself into trouble. Sure, of course.
Yeah. Well, that's really my goal. Ultimately, my goal is to get you in trouble. No, I think it'd be a good discussion. Any final thoughts or words as people are, furiously downloading and reading this thing for themselves?
No, I mean, the thing that I just feel pressed upon my heart, Brock, is again to talk about just you as a person and just your story.
Don't do that. That's dangerous.
No, but if people have not watched your story and what you've been through in your life, and if after seeing that they can't root for you, I mean, like, I'm just pulling for you, and I want you to succeed, if for no other reason, just because I think you're a good dude. I mean, I've said this publicly before. I mean, good dad, good husband, good, just talented dude that loves Jesus and wants to bring more good into the world. Because you've certainly experienced your share of bad. And so I encourage people that don't know the Brock Heasley story to search it up on YouTube or find it on the Shift page, wherever you have that video.
Yeah, it's down at the bottom of the Shift page. They can find it there.
I would love people to go watch that. And if you're not in a financial position to invest, because not everybody is, please add Brock and the Shift to your prayers. I mean, that's of the utmost importance, is to just recognize that if God wants this project done, he's going to provide Brock with the means to do it. Yeah. And on that note, if you are in a place to invest, but you're like, oh man, this is weird, this is risky, this isn't how it's done, right? We have 19,000 people that invested in The Chosen. Some for, $100, some for tens, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars. It's all contributing to the success of what is now, as of Sunday, a multi-season show about Jesus that is impacting the world. And I think the Shift has the potential to maybe not reach people as widely right away as The Chosen has, because I mean, we've got the best looking Jesus that's ever been on film, I think, in Jonathan Rumi. And I'm not saying like handsomeness, I'm saying just...
No, I know exactly what you're saying. Jonathan is the best Jesus I've ever seen, hands down.
He looks so much like him, and the way he portrays emotions in his eyes is exactly what I feel like Jesus will be when I finally get to meet him in person. Now, if Jesus is black, white, purple, porcupine quills all over his back, I don't care. I'm still going to hug him. Physically, I don't care. But the emotion that Jonathan brings in his eyes is second to none. So we have that going for us in reaching a wide audience. But the Shift has, again, the potential to reach a slightly different audience. And there is a redemptive quality to it. And again, I'm rooting for you, Brock, but I'm rooting for the Shift. And I will say again, the investment part of it can be scary, but there's a great book written by John Ortberg. It's probably 20 years old now, but it's called "If You Want to Walk on Water, You Have to Get Out of the Boat." And I don't think Jesus calls us to be comfortable. I don't think we are destined to be in just this little safe box in this world. If you want to see change, if you want to see more Jesus in the world, you got to step out of your comfort zone a little bit. And maybe that's investing in a project like this. Again, only if you have the means to do it.
Absolutely. It is a risk, and you should only risk as much as you're willing to lose, because we don't know what's going to happen. We obviously believe that a good thing is going to happen, that everybody's going to make money back, and that's what I'm working day and night to make happen. But you are right to point out the risk.
Well, don't let that little phrase gloss over either. Brock is working really, really hard on it. If there's one thing else, other than just being a good dude, Brock, you work so hard, and you have so much passion about this project and just your film career in general. So the investment is in good hands. Brock is going to not treat your belief in him in investment dollars lightly. He's going to take
not
really
at all.
good care of it. You already are. I know that.
Yeah, I appreciate that, man. I really do. And I see we are doing a different thing from The Chosen. But we are also starting in a lot of ways the same way The Chosen did. The Chosen was not always the giant behemoth that it is now, where it's a multi-million-dollar, show that employs hundreds of people. It started out just like this: crowdfunding. Nobody knew what it was. It's kind of different. It's kind of weird. Doesn't follow the Bible. You guys still get comments like that, and that's where we're at right now. And I was there from the beginning. I mean, it wasn't there in the sense that you were, but I remember when The Chosen first came out with The Shepherd, and before anybody could even invest, and it was just this little film on VidAngel. I saw it then, and I knew that it could be something giant like it is now. It's none of this is a surprise, the success that you guys have had. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. The funny thing is, it's not as giant. I mean, we're still a small team. We don't employ hundreds of people around the year. I mean, when we're shooting,
when you're shooting, yes,
the numbers go up. but it's still a small team of people that are working on The Chosen, and it's a labor of love for us. And yeah, I
And
see
there are
this
a lot of people. There are a lot of people who wish they had invested way back then. I did. I invested in The Chosen, and I'm glad I did. And there are a lot of people who wish they had. Don't let that happen to you with The Shift. If you think The Shift is important, you think it should be out there, I would encourage you to invest now if you have the means to do so. We would love to partner with you. One more word before we end this so that everybody can jump over to The Chosen live stream. I would love to hear from you after you've read the script. Particularly, I would love a 30-second video. If you can send me a 30-second video of your reaction to the experience of reading The Shift, I would love to take those videos and put them together into a little promo like I've done before, where we've taken reactions to the short. I'd love to get some reactions to the Shift feature film. So please consider doing that, messaging us on the Shift Facebook page. You can message us directly with your videos. I would love to see them, only if you're willing, of course, to have your face and name out there talking about the experience reading the script. Hopefully it's a positive one. We're going to find out. I'm still very nervous about this. It is crazy, but that was our big announcement tonight. The script is available at angelstudios.com/the shift. You can read it right now. Thank you for being with us. Thank you for your support and your faith and your investment. We want to make this film the right way. The more of you that support, the more of you that invest, empowers us to do this film exactly as it should be, to do the film that you're about to read in that script. Justen, thank you so much for being here with me tonight. I really appreciate it. It is so much better when I have someone to talk to, and it's even better to have a good guy like you to be able to talk to.
It's my pleasure, and that and hopefully people watching this understand the sincerity too. I don't make stuff up. That's just
I don't think you have an insincere bone in your body, man. I really don't. Maybe when you're acting, you got to be a little insincere when you're acting, but even then, anyway. Thank you, and I'll talk to you later, my friend. Everybody, go read. Let me know how it goes.
After the Chosen live stream.
After the Chosen live stream. Yeah. After that. Go download it now. Have it ready to go. All right. Take care.